Is that how we're starting this now? Welcome to the Founder's Corner. Welcome to the Founder's Corner. Okay, now let's be serious.
Okay, here we go. All right. Welcome back to Founder's Corner. And today's episode, I'm here with Bob, our VP of Sales. You've seen him before, but today we're going to be talking about burnout and founder burnout and all the things you can do to avoid it. But let's be honest, it just happens. And when it happens, what we can do to avoid it, or better yet, to be able to actually adjust your personality and your behaviors and everything to get this burnout to go away. So anyways, sure. Bob, welcome.
Oh, doing well. Yeah,
Excellent.
I'm not on a company burnout right now.
Oh, good.
No,
That's good.
I'm doing much better.
So actually, funny you bring that up, because in my opinion, we've all had burnout at Koridor.
Yes, we definitely have. I think we've done it in stages, and we've done it as a company as a whole.
Thankfully, it's never been the same time.
There was the one time. Let's go back there, because we had that conversation about it. So
yeah, that's true. So I mean, look, founder burnout is one of the most real things.
Yeah.
It happens to every single founder out there, and my biggest thing is especially when it happened to me for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
It was like the most like weird, like what the hell's happening with me kind of a sensation. Yeah. And I think with a lot of people, that is really how you feel when you first get it, right? You have no idea what it is.
Well, it's because, especially when you're starting out and everything like that, and you're kind of like progressing and everything, you're like just gung-ho, right? You're super excited about this, right? You're like, got my idea, got the team going, you're so highly motivated, and you just kind of, you're climaxing, right? You're hitting the top of what you need to get to, and you're so excited, but then all of a sudden...
So how did it happen to you? What happened to you that you had a burnout?
Well,
I think everybody's experience is different.
Well, for sales especially, my burnout was probably hitting the pavement, knocking on every door, sending out every bloody email that you can.
And you're by yourself.
And I'm by myself.
Especially at that time.
And you kind of got the weight of the company on your shoulders for revenue, to get people paid, you know, making sure that we actually have income coming in. And it was just the no's, the go away, I don't need this, I don't want you. It finally got to a point where the rejection was finally too much. Yeah. And that's where I hit my burnout moment. And I remember you even saw that in me.
And I think the biggest thing was like, it's not only the fact that you getting like no's, but it was also like, we were trying to target two different markets.
Yeah.
Right? And you had to kind of speak different languages each time.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing, is we had to kind of like pivot and adjust like my conversation with every single person. So that's kind of like was exhausting on its own, because it was like, oh, I'm talking to this person about this thing, then you have to pivot over here, and then you have to track what you've been saying to all these individuals. And then we actually had a bunch of people that came to us and like, yeah, we're interested in all this kind of stuff, but then you know what, all of a sudden it just like dwindled down. So your highs and lows were quite a bit.
So it's interesting for you, it was just hitting the pavement and getting no's and rejection. And I'm not going to say that's nothing, because that is massive. Yeah. What you do is very rare, and a lot of people cannot do it.
Right.
And they cannot do it for that very reason. But mine was very different, actually. So my burnouts, and I'm not, for me, I can kind of detect it now. Right. It's very different to me. Like I can immediately tell when I'm actually burning out. Mm-hmm. But mine was when we first started Koridor, and you weren't around at that time, but when we first started Koridor, I was reading books, which to its own detriment is a bad thing, because you read all these books about like, okay, how do I develop myself? How do I make myself better? Yeah. And I always come back to the mentality of like, if I can make myself 1% better every single day, I'm winning, no matter what.
Yeah, of course.
And you bring that concept and you start reading books, and then books tell you to do 1,000 things to make yourself better, and you start going, okay, I'm going to implement that. So I don't know if you've heard of like the 5 a.m. Club book.
Yeah, I've actually, I've heard about that.
Right. I was like, I'm going to be a 5 a.m. guy.
Oh, so you're just kicking into the routines?
Oh my God. So like I would wake up at 5 a.m. and I think I was able to maintain it for about a month. Yeah. And I died. I was done. Like I couldn't wake up in the mornings anymore. Like I was physically exhausted, mentally exhausted. I was cloudy. Like, it was awful. It was an awful experience.
Because it was obviously not meant for you. That was not the routine you needed.
So that's the funny part, right? You read another book, Sleep, and it specifically tells you don't do that. Unless it's your, like, you know what I mean? Like, not everyone is made for that 5 a.m. club.
Right.
And I think that's the biggest thing with founders is, like, especially in an early stage, you know, you're not as busy. You're trying to create momentum for your company. So what do you do naturally? You start reading books. You start educating yourself. Okay, how can I be a better person? Or how can the business be better? And you end up really screwing yourself over, in my opinion.
Oh, 100%, right? But I mean...
So it was a completely different experience.
It is, right? Mine was more just like, rejection and thinking that you're working 12 hours, 14 hours, just trying to get anywhere. Yours is more of a personal, like, trying to keep yourself busy, trying to be like, this is how I'm going to structure myself in my life so that I can be, you know, where I need to be.
Introverts are when they over socialize. Right. So when they're too involved with customers and they're introvert by nature, that's their burnout. So I think everybody has their own version of burnout. Like it's really triggered by whatever you're triggered by or what you don't like doing every single day. I just had one of my, you know, he calls me sensei, but, like, you know, he's a buddy of mine. And he actually reached out to me and he said, look, sensei, again, he just calls me that, but he's like, sensei, I have a, you know, I'm working my ass off. You know, I'm doing this, but I feel like I'm just, like, in a dark place where, like, I don't feel like I'm getting support, blah, blah, blah. And I immediately responded with, that's burnout.
Yep.
Like, I immediately saw
of course,
it, right? And so what did you do? Now we're going to get into what I said to him, but what did you do to get yourself out of the burnout? I mean, I know I kind of detected it.
Well, I mean, when we finally sat down and you're like, Bob, what do I need? Like, what can I give you? Like, how can I help you so that you're kind of getting over this?
And that's the biggest thing, support.
It was huge because, like, I felt like I was in this, like, spiral vortex circle alone that I was just, like, drowning and I didn't know what to do because at the end of the day, I had to start to identify what my actual strength was, right? And that's actually being in person, having conversations with people.
You are not a phone person.
I do not. Well, like, I can talk on the phone if I know you, but I'm not going to be able to go on there and do the cold calling and do the emails. And to me, it's just I'm not doing what I want to do.
By the way, kudos for whoever does cold calling because that itself is
thank you.
Like, wow, like you can't pay me enough to do that. There's no way I would ever.
So so then we put me up in the air. And we flew around everywhere and just was going to events and doing the socializing, being the extrovert that I am, where I thrive and I'm having a good time. And then I started to see success as well. So I was more in my element, which made me more successful, which then in turn helped out the company. And then that burden and that weight was starting to come off my shoulder. That there was no more burnout because having success and also having a routine, right? I was going to the gym twice a day. Right. So
well, you also, I mean, you're pretty open about it, but you also struggle with ADHD
massively,
which is a really, like, fun thing for you. Burnout and ADHD is just like it's a black hole.
It's never ending, right? You're good here, but then you're not good here.
It's a cycle. And you know, one thing, it was kind of funny. We started with you as like, hey, Bob, I bet you can't go to the gym twice a day.
Yeah.
And for a month, I think it was, right?
Yeah, it was a month straight. 30 days straight. Yeah.
It was no alcohol and
gym twice a day.
Cardio in the morning
and weights in the afternoon. Yeah.
And it was so funny. I don't know if you noticed it, but I definitely did.
Yeah.
And I was just watching you, and you went from being like this.
Tasmanian devil, let's put it that way.
I wouldn't call it.
I was a little bit everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, like the spiral.
Like right?
Yeah,
like you immediately, like, everything caught your attention, and then you went to this being like super ultra focused, like as if your brain was too tired to think about anything else.
Yeah. Well, I think it was also for me like the exercise and like also having that like that kind of system, that plan, being like, this is what I'm doing in the morning, this is what I'm doing later in the afternoon. So everything that's in between it, I'm just.
And then how did that translate into getting yourself out of the burnout? Because that also.
Well, I mean, exercise is great for anybody, but also it was now sticking to a routine and being committed to something, and then it just kept you focused, which then made you actually like succeed, right? Like finding the small wins in the day, right? If it was to go to the gym or to hammer out my calls or whatever. That was like success. So many successes got me to be like, okay, even though I might be getting a no, I'm now actually getting out of this, and I felt rewarded at the end.
So there is in burnout, there's two major aspects. There's the physical, and then there's the mental. And a lot of times why founders experience mental and physical, and I'll go back to, I think it's so funny because founders are optimistic, right? And optimistic is usually like, I want to become rich, like I'm going to make this into a big thing.
Oh yeah, I want to be the Apple tomorrow, right?
The funny part is you do that by destroying your body.
Yeah.
Right, because you're nonstop working,
no sleep, head down.
So you're working your ass off to become rich, to then in the future just pay for healthcare.
Yeah, I guess so. Really, at the end of the day,
it's a vicious cycle.
It is.
But anyway, so burnout to me is mental and physical.
Yep.
Right. The physical, obviously, eating healthy, exercising. Those are the basics.
Yeah.
And as soon as you sense burnout, in my opinion, those are your two go-tos.
Yeah.
Stop eating your carb, like slow down on the carb intake, because carb is usually like, you know what, I'm too busy, I'm going to grab a pizza.
Right.
I'm too busy, I'm going to grab a
burger from Wendy's,
Wendy's or Burger King or whatever, right? And on the exercise side, we kind of always put that as secondary.
Yeah.
Oh, I have to finish this, so I'm going to skip the gym.
Yep.
And naturally, your body, once you skip one or two.
Yeah. Right? And I mean, you don't have to even go to the gym. You can just go for a walk and just try to stay active.
So I do that. I go for a walk.
Yeah.
If I don't do a walk, I'll go for at least 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, it's only going to be 5. I'm going to do one set and leave. The funny part is I never stay for the 5-10.
Yeah.
So I always finish the at least 20 minutes of exercise, right? Because you're like, I'm already here.
Yeah, no, exactly. But now let's say like for me, I had you actually help register it for me and help me with it, right? A lot of these founders out there and stuff like that, it could be them by themselves, right? We have clients that are just by themselves. Yeah. And I can see it already with a couple of our clients. Yeah. They're by themselves. Yeah. They're just head down, like, this is it. Like it's all or nothing. So like, what would you do?
To lose,
right? And that's what I mean. But like, what can you say to those individuals because they're going down that rabbit hole, but they have no support probably.
So this is where I go to the second part, right?
Yeah.
So the first part is, again, let's stick at physical. That's easy to,
right?
In my opinion, that's easy to change, right?
It's a habit, yeah.
Mental is the most challenging, and in my opinion, you need actually pretty good emotional intelligence to be able to recognize it. That's why for me, like, it's very easy to detect other people's going through
hard times, burnout,
whatever. So like you can immediately tell by seeing the signs, like you're almost like you come into work later, you're kind of like more like slower, you're less optimistic. So these are kind of like the signs that you see right away. But in the mental side, the biggest thing is, I call it the vicious cycle of the state of mind. So, I mean, I don't know if that's a real terminology or not. I'm making it.
Well, there we go.
Vicious cycle of state of mind. So the state of mind as a founder, right, is I got to hustle. That's why there's this whole thing about like work hustle, like that hustle culture is kind of being like disregarded because mental health has become a big thing.
Yeah.
But you're in the sense of like, I have to finish 1,000 tasks within a single day. And if I do not, I failed the day.
Yep.
And that is the very poor way of looking at it.
Yeah.
And that's what causes your burnout because you just don't, you feel like you're just, you know.
Oh yeah, you're just spinning your tires. You're not getting anywhere.
You keep running and there's no light at the end of the tunnel.
Oh, 100%.
So, again, going back to my buddy
Sensei. Or your sensei. Sorry, can't.
Come on, man. I could be a sensei.
Yeah.
I could be Last Samurai. Anyways, I told him, I said, look, do you feel overwhelmed? Do you feel like no matter what you do, it's not enough?
Yeah.
And he's like, that's exactly how I feel. And it's funny because he talked to his manager. In my opinion, if you're a manager, you need to be able to sense these things.
Yeah, well, not everyone that's a manager is a good manager.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So.
Yeah, so. 1 second.
Get that hair all done.
No, the mic dropped. I don't know when it did, though.
Take 2, part 2.
Yeah. Do not show my fatness. Yeah.
When?
I don't know.
I just kind of felt it towards my chest, and I was like, wait, that's not in the right spot.
We were just laughing about it, him being a sensei.
Yeah. It could have dropped earlier, but that's fine. Okay.
Should have taped it into the shirt.
Hey, you know what? It is what it is.
Yeah.
All right, take two. So yeah, my buddy who, the one that calls me sensei,
yeah.
I said, look, are you feeling like no matter what you do, it's just not enough, and that every single day is just more and more and more, and you don't feel like you're actually getting anything done?
Yep.
He's like, exactly. That's exactly how I feel. And he had a manager that he was talking to, and the manager had no idea. So in my opinion, if you're a manager, you need to be able to understand that.
You have to understand your people. That's the most important part of your job, actually, at the end of the day.
To me, I immediately told him, I said, okay, first thing you do, and this is a trick I think a lot of people use, especially in the productivity world, but that's what I recognized. It was the fact that we weren't recognizing our wins on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Right? We were looking at like, I have 1,000 things on my list, and we were not recognizing the fact that, holy shit, I just got these 3 things done.
Yeah.
Right? And so I told him, I said, look, grab 3 or 5 things, right? It could be whatever, 3 or 5 things, grab those items and say, okay, these are the tasks that I'm going to get done today. If I achieve this, I achieved my day.
Yep.
I achieved success.
Oh yeah, I do it every day.
I think it's it's called like a mind journey or something like that. I'll link it to this post, but 5-minute journaling.
Yeah.
That's what that does.
Well,
it's like, what will you achieve in today?
I just do my task list for the day, and I just make sure I just put my 3 biggest ones that I can achieve, and then I have like an outstanding one on the side there. But
and where did you learn that?
I learned that from that book that you actually gave to me, and it was great because as long as I achieved those 3, then I felt like I actually succeeded something, and then I was never like overwhelmed by it, and then you just push the rest of the list over to the next day and then prioritize again. But I know you compound and get more and more in, but again, you just prioritize it and do it the rest.
Prioritize it, exactly. Like, look, the days never end.
Yeah, and you should always end your day by like recapping. That was the big one. Like actually when you're done your day, recap what's done, push the things for tomorrow, and then turn it off.
Because it's amazing what you do when you recap.
Oh yeah.
When you recap, you're like, okay, I could have done this differently. A, that's for adjustment. But B, you also go, oh shit, okay, I got a lot.
I got a lot done today. Yeah, right? Surprisingly. But then that moment where you're like, I don't have to think about this all night, because that's what I was doing before. When I was spiraling all night, I would wake up in the middle of the night. Oh my God, I gotta do this. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. I gotta do that.
It's not on a list. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Right? When you have it in your head, you get more overwhelmed than if it's on paper.
Yeah.
I've had that situation where like, I would like be like, I have so much I gotta do,
yeah.
And then you actually write it down, and it's like maybe like 10 items.
I know, it doesn't even feel like that. You're like, oh my God, this is nothing. Like, why was I stressed out for 4.5 days here and stuff like that, right? But
I wake up at like 3 a.m. wanting to puke. Yeah,
well, yeah, I wake up at 3 a.m. and then I get you guys all woken up with all my energy vibes and my stress, right? So,
so for the longest time, we actually had Bob. Wake us. I don't know if this is who cares what it is, but
I believe it.
The funny part is we would walk into the office and we say, "Hey Bob, were you thinking last night at 3 a.m.?" And he's like, "Yeah."
Yeah, it was like 3:30, 3:45. I was like, "Sorry, Milan, I was thinking about you actually last night about this project." He's like, "I actually woke up at 3:30," and then it was like for weeks and weeks.
Anytime you thought of us.
Yeah.
It was kind of funny.
Yeah. So watch out. Don't make me think of you.
Don't about waking you up. But so anyways, at the end of the day, I think the mental is the biggest part.
Yeah.
The physical, I think, is the easiest part.
Yeah, the physical can help out the mental though, because it can give you a break throughout the day a little bit.
With you.
That was me.
You literally even started eating way better.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, you get your 3-course meals, but I mean, it's all from home.
Yeah, no, I don't really eat out. I don't eat any fast food. I don't do anything like that.
With us in a while.
No, and it's just
fat asses here.
Well, hey now, come on now.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's a balance of a lot of things, right? So for physical, it's the food that you do, it's getting good sleep, it's making sure that you stay active mentally, it's identifying that when you need to like write everything down, like prioritize, get that out of your head, so you're not thinking about it, but also be aware of how you're actually feeling and identify that to yourself, being like, I have to change this. Right. I have to change my habit, and at the end of the day, you should be successful.
I go back to founders and them reading books and getting a lot of advice from a lot of different people, and I always tell anyone who I talk to, even students, because I used to do junior achievements.
Right.
Junior achievements is a bunch of entrepreneur kids, like.
Well, and they're young too, so they're very impressionable about it all.
And I always tell them, look, you're going to get a ton of advice. And the advice you're going to get is advice that worked for that person.
Yep.
It doesn't necessarily mean you have to follow them to the T.
No, what works for me and does not work for you and vice versa at all,
you
right?
and I are not even the same person.
No.
So like something that works for you. So for me, exercise, for example, I can get off with like 15, 20 minutes and I'll be okay.
Yeah.
But if you don't exercise twice a day, your ADHD kicks in.
Oh, I won't do anything. I'll spiral on a chair because I just can't focus.
So imagine like someone listening to you and going, oh, I'm going to do exactly that. But like you don't have ADHD. So that doesn't apply to you.
Yeah.
Really, sure, if you want to do it, you're going to burn yourself out faster though.
Yeah.
Because your body shouldn't be doing that. Right? So that's the number one advice I always give founders is like, take what you can.
Yeah.
Make it work with you. Test it out for a week. If it's not working for you, don't force your body.
Yeah.
Especially the 5 a.m. thing. I tried that. I forced my body through it.
Yeah.
And I had the worst crash. No, it's true.
It was too much. It was just too much for you.
Look, 6 a.m. I wake up at 6 a.m. now. It's not that far off.
That's pretty close.
But my body doesn't like waking up at 5 a.m. It hated me.
Yeah.
Right? So I just naturally let my body wake up now.
Well, and that's actually the best way to do it.
Yeah.
They say.
I don't have
other people say.
I can't do it. That's the thing. So for me, my body has a really good internal clock.
Yeah, I need an alarm and I need to force myself out.
Exactly.
So again, two different people.
My wife, my God. She has like 8 alarms, right? So same idea. Like sometimes she wakes me up and I'm like, I want to throw your phone out the window.
Oh yeah.
But that's her way.
Yeah.
So, I should have known before.
You should have known when you got married. Yeah. No, and I think one other thing, since we're touching point on all of this, is for founders that actually don't have somebody like I can talk to you about this kind of stuff, or you can come to talk to me, or we can talk to some of our other members here that work with us. Those that don't have anybody, I think it's really good to keep like a good group of like mentors with you, or other like-minded people, like other entrepreneurs in the same realm, that you can.
Is big.
Yeah, because you're all going to be on the same path. So when you have a burnout, or when you have like you're overwhelmed with something, or you don't know something, you should be reaching out to that close community. Don't try to just do it on your own, because it's inevitable at that time. Right. You're going to crash.
We had in our old office, we were sharing an office with AJ,
right,
from Sona Visual. And it was so funny because him and I would go out for lunches, just randomly, like once in a blue moon.
Yeah.
He was very busy. But when we did go out, it was so funny because him and I always felt like, you're in that world, I'm in this world. Yeah. Like we're in completely different worlds. And then we would meet and have conversations and we would realize we are so aligned.
Yep.
Right? It doesn't have to be in the same industry.
No.
Right?
No.
And so that's what I mean. He was a photographer. I was in software. That has no correlation.
No.
But he was expressing to me like, this is how I'm feeling. And I'm like, oh my God, dude, I'm feeling that.
Exactly.
I think the feelings are always going to be the same.
Yeah.
Especially for founders. It doesn't matter if you're in software, you're in business.
No.
It doesn't matter. And burnout is going to happen.
Yeah.
So the faster you detect it, the way you can fix it. And I've Googled this 1,000 times. How do you fix burnout, blah, blah, blah. And to be honest, there's a lot of fluff out there.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of fluff. And like most of the fluff is go exercise, go eat, and eat these foods.
So everything I did.
Turmeric. Yeah. Like, eat turmeric. It reduces stress or inflammation. I'm like, what does that have to do with anything? So I agree with them on the physical side.
Yeah.
Because it's true. But the mental, it's all mental in my opinion. Right? Because it's your brain that's burning out, not your physical body, per se. No. But it's your brain not getting the nutrition it needs,
the sleep,
the exercise, the sleep.
Sleep has been important.
Oh my God, huge. If I ever feel burnout, I do extra sleep.
Yeah.
I always take the extra time to sleep because that's huge. That's
huge. That's for everything.
Yeah. And also reducing that vicious cycle state of mind.
Yes.
That's how we feel trapped. When you feel trapped, that's when you start getting into the state of, I'm freaking out. I can't get myself out of this. I'm getting tired.
Yeah.
Right? Because again, like you said, small wins.
Yeah.
Without those small wins, how are you going to get out?
Yeah, that was the only way for me to get out. Yeah. But yeah, everyone's in a different boat, right? At the end of the day. So
anyways, Bob, thank you for being in the podcast again.
Hey, well, glad to be here.
You know what? You and I actually have really good conversations.
Well,
on a regular basis?
Well, it's because we've been on this journey together here now as well. And a lot of the things that we do align very much. And we've kind of experienced things like, it was either me or you or me or you, or we see it with other people.
That's right.
And yeah, at the end of the day,
it's always a good conversation.
It should be, right?
Thank you all for watching the Founders Corner.
Wow, he's in burnout, eh? You want to exit that better?
I don't know why my exits are always upward. Thank you all for watching Founders Corner. Wait until the next episode. We got some really exciting people lined up for you guys. Again, we're talking about everything founder, especially at an MVP or an early stage, getting you guys prepped for what's about to come. Thanks for watching. See you next time.